Well, crap. I hate how this works. It drives me crazy. Where you really can't zoom in and out correctly with my phone. Anyway, back to the video here. Sorry for the first part, probably making people sick. Today I want to talk about shooting, dice control, dice influence, whatever terminology you prefer to use for this. What I want to talk about is, does it matter? Does it matter if you do it? All right. This is a kind of a hot topic. Hello, everybody. A lot of people believe in it. A lot of people don't believe in dice control, dice influence. You know, the one thing is whatever people want to call it, I think it's always funny when if you say dice control, and then they'll be like, well, I don't actually control the dice. I influence the dice. So it's dice influence. Hello, Leo. How are you, man? We got to connect, Leo. You got to connect. Or you got to let me just send you something or something because, man, it's been forever. Anyways, guys, how does it look today? Because I'm hooked to Wi-Fi this time. Does it look better? This is, the last live was terrible. Does it look better? Can you guys give me some feedback on that? Because it definitely last time was crap. And I was just trying to go off of the cell service. This time I'm connected to Wi-Fi, so hopefully it should be better. Hopefully it shouldn't look like crap. But anyways, back to dice, influence or control or whatever you want to call it. Does it matter? Does it even matter to the game? Or is it better to just throw the dice down the table and play random? All right. Fantastic. I like that answer, Waylon. I really like that answer. Awesome, guys. I'm glad it looks a lot better today because I know the last video absolutely sucked. The last live video, it was terrible. Terrible. But anyways, let's get back to this dice influence and dice control thing. All right. Personally, if you're not going to put the time and effort into training yourself and learning to do it, and whether you believe in it or not, whether you think it's real or not, if you're not going to put the time and effort into it, you shouldn't do it. So just throw them down the table. Let me explain why. If you just randomly throw these dice down the table, you know what the random percentages are, right? You know what the random answers are. The random answers are in every craps book, in every craps sheet, chart, everything you can look at concerning craps. You know exactly how many times the 2 should come, the 12, the 8, the 4. You know this. You know the answers to that question. All right? So random, you have all the answers. All right? Does that mean it's going to happen exactly like that every time? No. But it's going to happen like that enough times that you can play that way. You can use it to play. So if you're not going to put the time and effort into dice control, then you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it because the truth with dice control, in my opinion, is dice control can actually work against you. A lot of people like to shoot hardway sets, and I'm going to explain something. I'm talking about a par shot. If you don't know what par shot is, P-A-R-R, it means that you're putting the dice, let's say in a hardway style, like this, and you're grabbing them like this in like a 3-finger grip or whatever you want to call it. And then you're doing this number and you're tumbling the dice out of your hand to get a result. All right. You're trying to keep that kind of shot, guys. That style of shot is intended to keep the dice what's referred to as on axis. Well, if you shoot a hardway set on axis, no matter what hardway set you shoot in the whole world, it has to have 4 7s on it. All right. Because there's the 5-2 and the 2-5 you can roll. And there's the 4-3 and the 3-4 there. On if you shoot the hard twos, if you shoot the hard threes, no matter how you set it up, there's 4 sevens. There's 4 sevens guaranteed on that on axis shot. Right? So 4 sevens out of those combinations. You didn't gain anything. That's still 16% of the total combinations. 1 out of 6. All right? You didn't gain nothing. So you might as well just roll them down the table. And so this is something that I think dice control that people don't understand, right? They don't understand that when you're trying to roll in a controlled manner, that likely you're putting yourself in line to hit sevens. The likelihood is that you're actually putting yourself in line to roll sevens, no matter how you shoot them. All right, so what people refer to is when you're rolling this hardware set, what they'll tell you is, yeah, but if you roll 1 on axis and 1 off axis, you can't roll a 7, which is true. It makes it really hard to roll a 7 with 1 on and 1 off if you use hardware sets. So you can't do it. The problem is then you're still in the same realm of it not being controlled or influenced, right? Because if you're influencing it to roll 1 on and 1 off, you're damn good, right? If you can consistently make 1 stay on and 1 go off, that's a damn good throw. You ought to be able to do it the other way too. So personally, I think dice control should have zero bearing on the 7. You should just accept that the 7 is going to come when it's going to come at the rate it's going to come. But what I do think dice control can do, and I think I've proven it myself in video, is that you can manipulate what group of numbers you get. All right? You can make it so you maybe don't get very many high numbers. You can make it so you don't get very many low numbers, or maybe you get more of the numbers in the middle. Doesn't change that you're going to get the 7. Doesn't change any of the 7 stuff. But you may be able to manipulate the rate at which certain groups of numbers come compared to other groups of numbers, and may be able to minimize another group. And I do this with the 10, right? I personally think I can outpace the 10, and I can lay the 10 and never roll the 10 to where it's damaging. I can win more than I can lose on the 10 if I lay the 10. And I've shown this in video many times. And so instead of dice controlling against the 7, I dice control against the 10. Right? And these are the things that I do. So I'm going to actually do that here. I'm going to just roll. As I roll dice control, I'm going to use the 2 shots that I use to kind of show it. And I'm going to roll versus the 10. And so every other roll of the dice will be a winner, because I can play it in that fashion. Every single other roll of the dice, I could make a winner. I'm laying the 10, and then I can just play the iron cross. And so I win every time as long as I don't roll the 10. Even if I roll the 7, the proportions I put my bets in will be a winner. And so I'll put it all out there, and so you guys can see. I used to call this the anything but 10. It's just 6, 7, 8. But I used to call it the anything but 10. All right, so here we go. All right, so right there, $100 invested, $200 lay 10. We have to go 200. Let's say we go $250 lay 10. Put this 50 extra bucks out there. All right. Obviously, you're going to have a line bet. So $250 lay 10, and so you have a $15 line bet. All right, pass line bet, just so you could shoot the dice. All right, everything's working all the time. So if I roll a come out 7, I'm going to lose 100. I'm going to win 15, and I'm going to win 125. Right? Pretty good, not bad. Even though I pay a little vig, still going to be a winner. All right, so after it comes, if I don't, like let's say I roll a different point, whatever the case may be, no matter what, I can't lose as long as I don't roll a 10, right? That's the situation we're in. As long as we don't roll a 10, we're fine. All right, so now the way I'm going to start, because the knuckleball is a little trickier, I'm going to start by using what I shoot at this is the 2-3-3-2 in a par style shot. All right, my goal here is to keep them on axis. That way, the only way I can really roll a 10 is if I roll a 5-5, which is harder to roll than a 6-4. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. Everything's working. All right, so now I can put myself on a pitch count. I can say, okay, I need 3 hits. There's a 6, 4 deuce. 4 deuce 6. We're going to win $20. Lose the field. I'm going to win 20. I'm going to put my profit right over here. That way everyone can see it. We'll put it right in the cum. That's not a bet, guys. That's just profit. All right. Can I roll 3 times without rolling a 10? And can I keep repeating this process? I think yes. I've proven, I feel like, that the answer is yes. And there's a 4. The hard 4. That's actually a scary roll, right? And that's just kind of a scary roll because the other side is the 10. We'll win 15. Here we go. One more roll. Get out of the hand. Can I get there? I did not. I rolled the hard 10. So this is a problem, right? This is your only problem, and I rolled it. All right, so the hard 10, boom, and lose. Bam, ow. That's the one hole in what I'm doing, which is kind of crappy because that's a good shot, right? Okay, replace it. So I would be down 250, but I don't know. So I'm down 200. Over here, put that back up there. That's what your bankroll's for. I wouldn't be discouraged if I rolled that, right? If I rolled the hard 10, that would not be discouraging. Now, if I did it a couple times in a row, I would feel like my shot is too damn good. All right, there's a 3-1-4. $15 winner. Here we go. Can I do it again? And there's a 3-1-4. $15 winner. One more shot. See, and what I mean by one more shot, guys, is I'm going to pull down my bets and then shoot for the 7. So I haven't got there yet because I obviously rolled a 10 on my third shot earlier. And there's the 8, 5-3. You could just leave it up and just keep rolling if you wanted. There's fine. That's also an option. All right. So guys, I won 20. I would have lost the field, so that was just an exchange. I won 35, but I replaced the field. All right, so I'd pull all these down. Obviously can't pull that down. Now I'm going to shoot against the 10. All right, guys, I don't think I'm going to roll the 10, even though I did a minute ago. But I rolled the right 10. I didn't roll the wrong 10. And so when you're setting up your idea, your thought process, you got to know where your hole is. What's an acceptable hole, right? Well, the acceptable hole for me is the 5-5. Just on a random basis, I have a 1 out of 36 chance, right? So even if I'm just rolling random, it's pretty hard to roll. So if I'm trying to control against the 6-4, I should be in a good spot. Here we go, 5-3-8. And so again, I'm just shooting for the 7 here, or attempting to. It doesn't appear like it's coming. And there's the 5-3-2. That's a pretty good shot if you're shooting the 2-3-3-2 and you get a 3-2. It's a pretty good shot, I would say. Here we go. 6, that's the point. Okay, so that's a winner. Not really a winner we would count on, but it's a winner. All right, we still got to shoot. So here we go. I'm still shooting against the 10, guys. The way in my mind that I would look at this is I wouldn't satisfy the roll until I roll the 7. At that point, I feel like it redoes itself. 6-5, yo. Come here, the wall. That's an odd one to get. That's a bad shot, I would think. I really, with the 3-2, 2-3, I don't think you should get 6s, right? If you're staying on axis, you should not roll 6s. And there's an 8. Okay, that's a new point. Are we ever going to roll a 7 right now? People are like, see, you're beating the 7. You're beating the 7 right now with dice control. Oh, smacked myself. All right, so I rolled 2 10s before 1 7, which is somewhat amazing to me. But so it's not working, right? I've hit 2 10s. Not working. All right, so let's switch gears. Let's see if I can manage it with the knuckleball. So right now, I would be quite a bit invested into this. This is one of the reasons why I quit playing this strategy. I used to play it all the time. So I got to get the first $100 out of here that we used. All right, so that's what we used to start the Iron Cross. So we would be up 125, 130, 140. So I'm down 500 minus 140, whatever that is. All right, so I'm going to go to the 6-4 knuckleball. Right now, people are like, you're trying to miss 10 with the 6-4. Yes, but I throw it differently. I try not to make them tumble. And there's a 9. I'm still looking for this 7 because I'm somewhat astonished that I haven't rolled a 7. It kind of goes like this, though. There's a floor. When you're not, when you're making a craps video, guys, let me assure you, this happens a lot. When you're making a craps video, it will go exactly against what you want it to do. And you can do the exact same things you always do. There's a 9, and it will go against it. It's crazy how it works. 6-3. And a 6, 5-1. I'm throwing pretty good shot as far as the knuckleball goes. They're not tumbling a lot. But the 7 is eluding me. It's running away from me. I'm not able to get it. Here we go. 5, 3, 2. So again, as far as dice control goes, guys, as far as it goes, is it real? My honest answer would be no. Ow, hard 10. So I'm getting smoked, absolutely smoked on missing the 10 today. Part of it is what I told you guys in the beginning, that you have to practice. I haven't been practicing it. I don't play that way anymore. I'm not saying it's not a good way to play. I just don't play that way anymore. I don't think you need to. So anyways, I'm not going to try to do that anymore. I'm getting crushed on it. So it's not working, obviously. But that is the only way I think dice control does work, is trying to move your numbers, get a different group of numbers. I don't think you can beat the 7, is what I'm getting at. So I don't think it really matters as far as trying to beat the 7. And that's what I was trying to get at more on here, is that I don't think you can beat the 7. Now, I do think you can beat other numbers. I do think you can train yourself to get those numbers less than you're supposed to. I obviously didn't accomplish that here. But I definitely, when I used to practice this all the time, I was pretty good at it. And in fact, I put out a strategy one time, and I called it anything but 12, because I found out there was a few crapsless tables around that would let you lay the 2 or the 12. Well, guys, if you can lay the 2 or the 12, you can make it to where you have a 1 out of 36 chance of losing. You should. You definitely should. But so I actually, I think most of the places that allowed you to lay the 12 have quit, because people went and laid the 12 and played every other number and crushed them, because just the idea behind that you're laying that has one combination, you just have such an advantage that you shouldn't be able to lose if you have any discipline at all. Yeah, they as far as I know, everywhere has stopped letting you lay the 12. I haven't found any casino, and I haven't heard anyone say that you can still lay the 12. I know some guys went to a North Carolina casino and smacked them one weekend, and they quit. North Carolina or South Carolina casino. Well, anyway, somewhere over in the Carolinas. And a group of guys went in there, because I got emails about it. They said, yeah, we went in there and a bunch of us jumped on the table. And bam. Now, Goog, some places will let you lay bets still. But they quit, as far as I know, because of the lay the 12, play everything else. Because if you have a reasonable size bankroll, you can easily make a couple $100, and they really can't do a lot about it, because if you can lay the 2 or the 12, you have to just get really, really unlucky. And the likelihood that you're going to roll a bunch of them is bad. So if you had any level of bankroll and you have a casino that'll let you lay the 2 or the 12 on a crapsless table, just play every other number, lay that bet to cover whatever you got out there, and play strategies like 4 hits and down and 3 hits and down. And you can just rake in money every shooter, because the likelihood that they're going to roll the 2 or the 12 is pretty damn low, especially if you wait till you see one. All right. And I know people don't want to agree with that, but if you wait till you see a 2 or a 12 and then do it, hello, Antonio. But if you wait till you see one and then do it, the frequency, any kind of frequency play there, man, you are way ahead as far as percentage go and likelihood of loss. If you wait till you see a 2 or a 12 and then boom, you lay it and then put everything else out there, you could probably go 7 hits if you wanted at that point, and be really safe. And so that's just something I wanted to point out too in this video, is that it's kind of crazy the way that works, right? The way frequency and probability work in tandem. That's true. You definitely have to lay that to get that. So you'd have to have a real bankroll. You can't go there with $100 if you're going to do it. But guys, it's nothing, especially in Vegas. It's nothing to see guys drop 10 grand on a craps table. It's nothing. Happens all the time there. So you go to those big places like that, and especially if Caesars Properties let you do it, 600 to win 100. Yep. And they're going to allow you to do it, man. Even if you have to play the Iron Cross behind it, right? Even if you have to play Iron Cross style, you're still going to make out. You're still going to win, because it's so hard to roll that number, right? It's a 2-point-something% chance that you're going to roll it. So there's a 97-point-something% chance that you're not going to roll that number every roll of the dice. And so I actually did a video on this one time. I don't know if it was live, or I think it was a live video. Hello? And in live video, I think it went like 96 rolls or something like that. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Before there was a 12. And if you think about it, if you would have just had your iron cross up there. Right. Yeah. I mean, you're just putting it to where you just have such an advantage, a probability advantage so heavy that if you're willing to quit after any number of hits, you're going to win so much of the time. It's an interesting situation. And the casinos, when craps players figured out that there was an advantage there, casinos got they quit doing it. All right. See, craps was a way for casinos to screw the craps players, right? If you don't realize that craps taking away the ability to take away the 7 from the casino, that's what the casino was doing with craps. They were saying, well, we'll just take this away because it's too hard for us to win against this. So we'll just make it so they can't play it anymore. And then we'll give them these other bets and put big odds on them. And, well, Craps is a shitty craps game. It really is. But if you can lay bets, it's not. It turns into a very player-friendly game. So I'm just going to keep track. I'm just going to roll dice until I roll a 12, all right? So we're going to say we're laying the 12. I'm just going to roll. I thought I rolled it right away. I didn't. I rolled a 7. All right? I'm just going to keep track. I'm just going to put, I'm not going to care which one. I'm just going to keep sticking chips out there. I'm just going to see how many rolls before I roll a 12. 11. And 11. This is getting really close. We've had a 6 on every dice. And a 5. So again, guys, remember, you'd win on every roll that's not a 12 because you'd win on the 7 too because you'd be laying. And so you'd lay the 7 to be profitable. And there's aces. Oh, so at this point, would you move over to aces? Would it be a good idea? Probably. But we're going to stay with the 12. There's an 8. I just want to see how many rolls before we get and a 10. And a 6. And an 11. And an 8. And a 7. And a 5. And a 5. And a 10. This is just random rolling. See how many before we get a 12. And a 7. And a 6. $12. Okay. So we had 16 rolls before 12. Okay, so if we had $100 iron cross out there or whatever, however we worked it, we had $600. So we would have had to figure out the iron cross in there. So let's say we average a $15 win, right? So 15 times 15. So we would have been probably down a little bit. But if you just rolled your 12 and you replaced it, you probably could get to profit. But at any time in here, you could have left. You could have left after 3 hits. You could have left after 6 hits, 9 hits, 12 hits, 15, 6. I mean, you could have just left it. What I'm getting at is that if you're allowed to lay the 12, you would have to allow yourself 3 shots at it, probably. So If your bankroll was, no, you don't need to. You don't need to roll 30. You need to have discipline and leave after you get a couple hits. That's what you need to do. And so this just proves that. Let's say you had 3 shots at the 12, right? So let's just use 600 and 100, all right? That would make your sevens a break even, but let's say you made it 660. I don't know, something like that, to where your 7 was profitable as well. All right, so what you do at that point is you play 3 hits and down, or you wait until you see it. And you wait till you see it. You know, boom. If we would have, when we saw that 1, if we would have moved over to the aces, if we would have moved over the 2, we wouldn't have lost on this 12. If we would have saw here, we could have been just bouncing our money back and forth. The likelihood of them repeating is pretty damn low. You know what I mean? Or even coming back within 5 or 6 or 7 rolls of each other is pretty damn low. So what I'm getting at is, if you can find a table that allows this, guys, this is a profitable way to play craps. And again, if you believe or don't believe in dice control, you may figure out a way to not roll 12s. You know, it's a lot easier to figure out a way to not roll 12s than it is to not roll 7s. Right? That's a significant difference. So again, guys, I just wanted to kind of talk about this stuff because I've got a lot of dice control questions lately and stuff. Guys, I don't consider myself a dice controller, by the way. I don't. Dice influencer, controller, whatever you want to call it. Dice monkey, I don't care. Whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same concepts. I don't consider myself one. Do I use it? Yes, I do. But mostly what I use it for is a comfort level thing. It makes me comfortable when I do it. And I've practiced it a lot. And I do feel like I get different results when I do it as opposed to random. So I do think that there's validity to it in my case personally. But does that mean that I base my strategy on it? No, of course I don't. I don't base any way I play on it. Hey, I don't base it on there. Hello, Mr. Tony. I don't do that. I use it as a comfort. I use it as a helper to what I'm doing, not as the direct catalyst for trying to make money. What was that set you used again? I like it. On to miss the 10 or what? What are you talking about, Waylon? But yeah, again, it's the dice control stuff, guys. Yeah, no 10, the 3-2-2-3 or 2-3-3-2. I do that just because I feel like it limits me to just rolling the hard 10 on that. I have pretty good success with it. When I get don't bets, like when I'm playing the 6, 7, 8, and I end up on the 10, that's what I use. I just switch to that set because I feel like it helps me miss it. Yes, that's correct, Waylon. That's what I use to miss it, and I do pretty well with it as far as the profit seems to go. So the only way I can really validate it is that I take more money home than I bring usually. So it must do something correctly. But again, guys, as far as traditional dice control goes, I don't believe in it like it's taught mostly. Most people teach it a very specific way. I did have a long roll with it, yes. As it's taught a very specific way, I don't really believe it in that fashion. I don't believe you can defeat the 7 as its percentage is over any length of time. You may have short runs where it works, but any length of time, I'm explaining what I'm saying is over one weekend at the casino, I don't think you can dice control the 7 and beat it. I think you will, if you calculated all your throws, you'll be at 16%. So now, does that mean all those throws lost? No, some of them will be come outs. Do I think I'm staying on access, like as far as if I rolled the dice and I watched them in slow motion, are they not tumbling side to side? No, absolutely not. They're tumbling all over the damn place. But does that mean that the inertia isn't correct? No, the inertia could still be correct to stay on axis, but it doesn't mean that they're flipping straight over each other. Like I do think that they're tumbling side to side as much as front to back. But that doesn't change that it works, guys. As far as that goes, I know that's something that gets brought up a lot, but that's not really true, because it can still be a very consistent tumble if it's turning like this, corner to corner like that, or if it's turning like this. People just want to assume that that's a better play, that's a better shot, but this is still the same thing. If it still lands on the same number, it's still the same thing. Yeah, have some money on it. There you go. Just take it away, right? Take the 7 away. You don't got to worry about it. Quit worrying about it then. Okay, 7. Okay, good. Move on. Yeah, I agree. Just take the 7 away. You no longer have to worry about it. There's this quote in Forrest Gump. I love this quote in Forrest Gump. I don't know, I guess probably haven't seen this movie in a long time. But Lieutenant Dan, it's when Forrest, he's on the bench and he's talking, and he said, and Lieutenant Dan invested us in a fruit company. He said, we didn't have to worry about money anymore. And I said, good, one less thing. And I love that quote, because that's the way I look at the 7. Well, I don't got to worry about the 7 no more. Well, good, one less thing. And, he invested him in Apple, So 7 is kind of like Apple stock, right? You invest in Apple stock. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to be pretty profitable. So that's the same way I look at the 7, Take it away as a problem. Good, it's one less problem. And that's, in my opinion, how the game should be looked at. And if dice control and all those other factors that go into the game should all revolve around you controlling the 7, should all revolve around that. Once you manipulate the 7 as far as betting goes, you manipulate it in your favor. At that point, you can basically do anything else you want on the craps table. You can play any other way you want if you control the 7. You can hop numbers, whatever. It doesn't even matter at that point, because you're manipulating the 7 in your favor. Forrest and craps, yeah. But that's the way I look at it, is what I'm saying, is that quote from that movie is really good. And as far as it refers to this. So, but anyways, that's just one of the things that I think is an effective thing as far as craps goes. It should be the very first thing. You get the 7 out of the way, control that. At that point, you can play however you want. If you want to be a 3-point molly guy, you want to be a pass line plus odds guy, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to be 6 and 8 only, martingale, whatever. As long as you have that 7 controlled and you manipulate in that part of the process, everything else is available. And guys, I'm going to tell you this, another thing. And I've argued this with lots and lots of people. House edge doesn't matter. And I will argue this with a million people every day, forever. The house edge does not matter. It matters 0. All right. And I know people will say it does, but why are you saying house edge matters? It's something you've heard. It's a rhetoric you've been taught or read in a book, or some mathematician has said this. But guys, house edge is for the casino. That's how the casino dictates how much money they make. All right. The craps table, they developed the table, developed the bets on it to say, okay, every bet on 5 is going to make me this much money over the course of a bazillion million infinity rolls. We're going to profit this much on the 5. We're going to profit this much on the 10. We're going to profit this much on the field. It has nothing to do with the player. And I know a lot of people develop strategies and they base their play on house edge, but guys, it just doesn't make sense. As a player, you should only base your play on probability. How likely are you to win per roll? Is your strategy really hard to win every roll? Or is it really easy to win every roll? Because the way probability works is if you win on every roll, except for, let's say, 3 out of 36 combinations, you win out of 33 out of 36 combinations, and you have a little discipline. If you win 3 times and quit, the house edge didn't make a difference at all. And so, guys, again, the house edge is what it is. People, you're never going to manipulate it. And another thing is putting odds behind a line bet. Hey, Hawaii Crap Shooters. Hi, Mr. Brian. Putting odds behind a line bet does not change the bet. That's one of the things that I think is so funny to me. It's still the same price. You're still paying the same thing. Let me explain what I mean. Them odds behind that bet do not change the house edge outcome, even though they put some math together that say it does. It doesn't, because the odds bet, whether it's on the don't or the pass, is a wash over time. It's going to win and pay out an equal amount over time. So you're still just playing the flat bet. And this is a thing that casinos do and they talk about. But it's a wash. So you're still just playing the flat bet. It's still whatever house edge, if you want to look at it that way, it's still whatever the flat bet is. And so that's one of the things I think it's so funny when you hear that rhetoric at the casino and the dealers, oh, play the odds. That's the best bet in the casino. No, it's not. The best bet in the casino is having a don't with a 10 or a 4. You're a 2-to-1 favorite on a 1-to-1 payout. So again, all that stuff, that's just my rant on that and my way I look at it. Guys, play how you want, but if you'll control the 7 and you'll take the 7 away from the casino and you'll make the casino have to beat you with another number, you're going to be winner more often than you are against the 7. It's just the truth. And the math follows it if you want to jump into the math side of it. If you only have to play against the 5 every time, you're going to do better than the guys playing against the 7 every time. It's just the truth. So, again, y'all have a great day. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of comments on house edge, and I'll have all the equations put into the comments on how I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. But, guys, any odds bet on the whole craps table is a wash. It's an even bet. There's no edge, right? You're going to break even on overtime. But you have to have a flat bet to have an odds bet. So there you go. Anyways, y'all have a great day. This is Jacob from When'd You Meet This.